Right off the bat, you get history. The colors, the music. Everything tells you you've gone back to the times when AoE reigned supreme over gamers' computers. Just a quick run through the tutorial, and you're ready for the campaigns. 4 to be precise. If you're wondering why this review is coming out so late, well, the first campaign alone, with its 10 missions, took me about 8 hours to finish. The only thing that made me sad was the focus on Europe, and only the end of the campaigns gives you the chance to finally visit Asia. But I guess that's where expansions will come in. The first campaign focuses on Normans invading England, the second takes place during the 100-Year War in France, then finally in the third we get to visit Asia and the Mongol civilization to end our journey with the birth of Moscow. And when I said we will visit places, I wasn't lying. One of the best newly added features for casual RTS fans are the short movies that come with every mission. Drawn images from the real world naturally change into events happening in the game. It looks and feels fantastic. And it almost feels like you're watching a great documentary on YouTube. The chance to see modern English cities filled with drawn-in palisades, soldiers and fires is unforgettable. On top of that, with every completed mission, a plethora of additional movies and documents are unlocked that will teach you about history, how castles were built, how weapons were crafted, and just so much more. This makes Age of Empires 4 easily a game that could be used to teach history in schools. One of the things I would criticize about the campaigns is its focus on siege. Almost all the missions in the first 2 campaigns are either siege of this or battle of that. Especially the first mission doesn't exactly feel like Age of Empires. You get an army and a hero unit, and your goal is to destroy the enemy's army. Then there's the rest of the missions, and they are a bit too bland. Destroy the castle, protect the city, and maybe wait for reinforcements. Luckily, there are a few more classic types of missions where you get to scout out the map. But the campaign does truly focus mostly on siege and defend missions, and it doesn't teach you enough about managing your economy, which is hugely important if you want to play the multiplayer. I will talk about multiplayer in greater detail in a moment, but for now, suffice to say you will get to play a total of 8 nations in it. Not all of them are available in the campaigns, and that's really sad. And I really don't understand why they added both the English and the French to the core campaigns, as they do play somewhat same-ish in the hands of a casual player. On the other hand, the Mongols and their ability to relocate their buildings is truly original, and yes, every nation comes with unique buildings, units, and technologies. So while I might have not sounded super positive when talking about a campaign, it is good, swift, and fun. The gameplay itself needs to be praised, for sure. The creators wanted to bring something new, yet keep the feel of the essence of this beloved franchise. The campaign thus gets rid of some of the features and keeps others. For example, hero units remain and get special abilities such as faster movement, healing, or just plain being stronger. And to get to the next age, you no longer research a special technology, but you build special buildings that provide unique bonuses depending on which one you build. But don't worry, you will still get ganks in the middle of a stealth forest and archers on top of stone walls. What's really cool is that some of the units now get special abilities. Let's say the archers. They can now build wooden stakes around them to protect them from cavalry units. And forget slamming swords into buildings, as finally the units have learned to pick up torches and burn them down. Authenticity is much more of a factor in AoE 4. Sadly, that's where the list of new things ends. Though Whether this is a bad thing or a good thing, it's really hard to decide. The authors were obviously looking for more of a quality and familiar experience rather than a revolution. Though one thing that underwent big changes is the UI, which feels incredibly minimalistic. Everything is modern, small, and allows you to easily see your little town. There are a few nice improvements such as little icons and counters over buildings, so you don't have to click as much as you had to previously. A simple yet elegant solution, especially for the newcomers, as buildings are hard to recognize unless you play a lot and pay close attention. Visually, the game just looks great. But the best? No. As it is obvious, it has gone through a very lengthy development cycle. But this did have its benefits. The game runs great, and while there are some bugs present, they are being fixed at a good pace. One thing that will be a huge matter of opinion is the color palette. AoE 2's Definite Edition feels like true Middle Ages, and for those switching from it to AoE 4, everything might feel a bit oversaturated. On the other side of the spectrum is the sound design, where I don't think anyone can complain. In the end, AoE 4 single player plays well as it is fluid, easy to learn, and will provide a lot of fun for many hours to come. But now, let's take a look at where AoE truly lives: the multiplayer. Every single Age of Empires game is truly built around multiplayer. Doesn't matter whether we're talking about friendly skirmishes during LAN parties with friends, or the current professional matches which can to this very day get tens of thousands of views on Twitch. If you personally decide to partake in the online multiplayer of Age of Empires 4, you need to get ready. And as you might have guessed by now, I'm building a bit of a defense. A defense of my incompetence. While I do enjoy Age of Empires 4, I don't stand a chance against people who are truly good at it. That's why I didn't include my own multiplayer gameplay in this part of the review, but instead a gameplay coming from real professional players during the Genesis tournament. More precisely, the grand finals between Viper and Mista. Here's where you'll get the chance to see AoE 4 as it's meant to be played. I'm sorry that this part doesn't come with sound, but the casters would have been a bit distracting to the review. The footage comes from the T90 official channel, link is in the description, so be sure to give them a subscription. When writing this review, I personally have played 6 matches and won 4 of them. That might not sound like that bad of a win rate, but yeah, these were only quick matches. And even then, I've seen players playing so well that their empires spanned half the map with fully upgraded armies knocking at my door before I even entered the 3rd age. I decided, for now, not to even try ranked, because, well, that would be a silly idea, because I'm just not that good. But not every game needs to be a 1v1. There are also modes that allow you to team up with others. For example, my very first multiplayer game was a 2v2. And I did get destroyed rather quickly. In just 10 minutes, my town laid in ruin, and I left the match. But when I looked at the match data later, I saw my teammate manage to 2v1 the others. Since then, I trained a lot, and my last 2v2 game ended with a victory. What a rush that was, and I'm certainly the next Grand Champion! Let's return to reality for a moment. I do have a feeling that something has changed in the multiplayer of AoE 4. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but it's just more fun than any of the previous installments. Maybe it's the bigger focus on defense, with walls where archers can be placed on and take less damage. Maybe it's the variability of the playstyles of the differing nations. Perhaps just the ability to unlock new flags and statues, giving you something to strive for even if you aren't the best. Nonetheless, AoE 4 is addictive as hell. The games were fairly fast, and even a 4v4 match took less than an hour. And the matchmaking was fairly quick too, as it never took more than 3 minutes to find a game for me. For a second, before I talk about the professional scene that seems to be rapidly growing, I just want to go back to the various unlockables. These truly shine, even if in the grand scale of things they're just a tiny little thing. There are these masteries, which are essentially achievements that are unlocked by actually learning important mechanics for a given nation and make you truly feel like you're becoming a better player. Now to the professional scene. I highly suggest you find a channel called Aussie Drago, link again in the description, who posts commentary for cool AoE 4 matches every single day and will allow you to learn even some of the harder tactics that can be performed in AoE 4. There are already tournaments being played, pros from StarCraft 2 are trying whether AoE 4 could be their new game of choice, and altogether, AoE 4 seems to be on a good road to becoming a staple in the real-time strategy pro scene.